Hello and welcome to Vegan Cafe 21. Today we are making cranberry walnut bread. For this bread, we are going to use whole wheat flour. So let me walk you through the ingredients. In this bowl, I have 3 cups of whole wheat flour. Here I have 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cinnamon powder, a cup of sweetened dried cranberries, and a cup of chopped walnuts. Over on the stove top, I have a pot with 2 cups of water. We are going to bring this water to a temperature where I can put my finger in and feel it warm, not hot. We are going to use this water to activate our yeast. If your water is too hot, it'll kill your yeast. If it is too cold, your yeast will not activate. So you need to be careful with the water temperature. Nothing to be afraid of. Just get your water temperature right. It'll be a-okay. So I think it's just fine. So I'm going to put my yeast in this water along with maple syrup. And you will know that you did it right because the yeast will start frothing a little bit. A quick tip for measuring and pouring of any kind of sweet syrup. If you grease the inside of your cup or your spoon that you're using to measure out, it'll be easy for you to pour your sweet syrup out without sticking to the side. All right, if you come take a look at this yeast, you'll see it is activating nicely. While our yeast is getting happy in that warm water, I'm going to add salt and cinnamon to our wheat flour. Add in the walnut and the cranberries, mix it all in. Okay, we've incorporated all the dry ingredients, and now I'm going to bring in this water and start adding it slowly to make a soft, sticky dough. Since we are using wheat flour, whole wheat flour, we are going to need a little more water to get the dough to that sticky consistency. And this is the dough that does not require kneading. You just have to mix it in and get it together and then set it aside in a draft-free place for about 4 to 5 hours till it doubles in size. Now I'm feeling that this dough is going to need a little more water. If it needs a little more, I have a 1/4 cup on standby on the side of my bowl that I can use. I think we can put 2 tablespoons of water more. So I'm just going to get it all incorporated in our dough. And that's about it. We are now going to let our dough rest covered in this pot. I'm going to just put a teaspoon of oil at the bottom of this bowl and run my dough over it like this. And I'm going to cover it. And what I generally do, since we live in a place that's a little bit colder and it's winter time, I'm going to put it inside the oven and turn the light on. I won't turn the heat in the oven on, just turn the light on and let it sit there for 4 to 5 hours. It should really double in size. We will come back and check with it after 5 hours. So it's been 5 hours and look at our dough. It has more than doubled in size. So the next step is going to be for us to punch it down. Do you see how the yeast has worked? All these pores. Take a closer look. This dough has risen beautifully. So we are just going to gather it up. Now use a different bowl, which I have here. And I have a piece of parchment paper that I'm going to put in this bowl like this and lift our dough and drop it into this bowl like this. Now I'm going to cover it again, and this is what we do next. I have a 5-quart cast iron Dutch oven that we are going to use to bake our bread in. So here's what we're going to do. Let's walk to our wall oven. I'm going to set the temperature to 465 degrees Fahrenheit and place this in here. And we will allow our Dutch oven to heat along with our wall oven. So it will be screaming hot for us to place our bread dough in. While our oven is heating, we are going to let our dough sit in this bowl covered and wait for our oven to come to temperature. So our oven has heated to 465 degrees. It's super hot, and our pot inside is going to be very, very hot. So use some very sturdy oven mitts to now pull this pot out, place it on your stove top, take the cover off, and look at our dough, how beautifully it rose again. So now we are just going to take a very sharp knife and just mark over it, lift it with the parchment paper, and very carefully just drop it in. Now use your mitts to place the lid like this. We will take this and transport it back into our preheated oven and let it bake covered for 30 minutes. The steam from the bread dough is going to give this bread a very nice crust. So after 30 minutes, we are going to come back and uncover the pot and then let it brown nicely for another 5 to 7 minutes or up to 10 minutes depending on your oven. 30 minutes have passed, so let us come in and remove the lid very carefully. And now we are going to start our oven again at 465 for about 10 minutes. And we are going to let the bread bake without the lid to get a nice brown color up on top. All right, so our bread has browned beautifully. Now I'm gently going to lift it with the parchment and place it over a cooling rack. We are not going to slice it just yet. We are going to allow it to cool down for about an hour and a half or so, and then we will come back, slice it, and it will be ready to serve. So here's our beautiful, nutritious, whole wheat cranberry walnut bread made from scratch. Let me show you the texture of these slices. Look at this. Doesn't it look beautiful? And the upside is it has more fiber, better nutrition value than you would find in a bread baked with white all-purpose or bread flour. Now, if you don't have a Dutch oven to bake your bread in, no worries. You can bake this bread in an oven-safe stock pot. So if you have a metal stock pot or any other kind of pot that is safe in the oven on high temperatures, you can definitely bake your bread in that. If you're using a stock pot, make sure the lid is oven safe as well. If you don't have an oven safe lid, you can invert a baking tray over your stock pot and bake it that way. The difference, however, will be that you won't have to preheat your pot with the oven the way we did our Dutch oven. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I'll see you again soon with more vegan favorites.